Hi friends, welcome to another video lecture of this current module. We shall discuss about vector subspaces and the other theory associated with it and solve some problems based upon this concept. So the definition of vector subspace goes like this. Let capital V be a vector space over the field capital F and W be a subset of V. So W is a subset of V, which I am denoting by this symbol. Then W is called a subspace or vector subspace of V if W itself is a vector space over the field F with respect to the operations of vector addition and scalar multiplication in V. Let me repeat. Let V be a vector space over the field F and W be a subset of V. Then W is called a vector subspace of V if W itself is a vector space over the field F with respect to the operations of vector addition and scalar multiplication in V. So the necessary and sufficient conditions for a vector subspace is what that is given by theorem 1. Please note, you need to remember the theorem because based upon the theorem statement itself we would be solving problems. So the theorem 1, as we abbreviate, states like this. W is a vector subspace of V of F if W is non-empty. Secondly, W is closed under vector addition. That is, for any W1, W2 belonging to W, I have W1 plus W2 also belonging to the set capital W. Then capital W is closed under scalar multiplication. That is, for any scalar constant A belonging to F and W belonging to capital W, I have A into W also belonging to capital W. A into W also belonging to capital W. So proof. So if W satisfies the three conditions as written here, then we have to only show that W is a subspace of W is a subspace. So since associative, distributive, and commutative properties are hereditary properties, to show W is a subspace of V, so here we need only to show that 0 belongs to W. For W belonging to capital W, there exists minus W, which also belongs to W. Right? So we shall prove one by one now. So for proving that W is a subspace of vector subspace of capital V, it suffices enough for us to show that 0 belongs to W, and for any small w belonging to capital W, that implies minus W also belonging to capital W. So we shall prove these two subdivisions A and B respectively. We're talking about the proving of 0 belonging to W. So we have been given that the capital W is a non-empty set. So it consists of one element at least or more elements. It can consist of at least one or more elements. So since capital W is a non-empty set, so at least one element belongs to capital W. So say suppose W belongs to capital W, then from the third statement we have 0 into W is equal to 0 belonging to W, as 0 is also an element belonging to the field capital F. Also, V plus 0 is equal to V for V belonging to W. Hence, 0 is the identity of capital W. So, scalar multiplication, there is an identity element also here. So, that's why we have proved here that 0 is the identity element of W. Now, I have to check for the inverse identity or inverse element. Now, if V belongs to capital W, then minus 1 into V is equal to minus V, which belongs to capital W. And I also have minus V, such that V plus of minus V is equal to 0. So that's why I infer that capital W is a subspace of V. So these two properties are satisfied. So as I told, it sufficed enough for me to say that if I prove the subdivisions A and B, then I can have proved that W is a vector subspace of V. A vector subspace is also called as subspace. Now we shall prove the converse of this theorem 1. So it states that if W is a subspace of V, then W itself is a vector space and conditions 1, 2, and 3 are necessary. So what are the three conditions 1, 2, and 3? These three conditions, W being non-empty, W being closed under vector addition, and W being closed under scalar multiplication are necessary. So this is mathematically stated as if capital W is a vector subspace of V of F, where it's a vector space over the field F. So that's why I'm denoting as V of F. If and only if W is non-empty, for any A comma B belonging to F and V comma W belonging to W, I have A into V plus B into W belonging to capital W. So if capital W satisfies 1 and 2, that is first and 2 criteria, then by the first criteria, the capital W is non-empty. So it consists of at least one element which is non-zero. It can consist of at least one element or more elements. Now, if V comma W belong to capital W, then by the second property, I have V plus W is equal to 1 into V plus 1 into W, right? Which belongs to capital W, as 1 also belongs to the field F. Then also for A belonging to capital F and V belonging to capital W, I have A into V is equal to A into V plus 0 into V, which also belongs to W. So that's why by theorem 1, we infer that capital W is a subspace. So that's why if W is a subspace, then W itself is a vector space, and conditions 1 and 2 as mentioned in the theorem 2 are mandatory and they need to be satisfied in order to say that W is a vector subspace of V of F. Just a minute. Now we shall solve a few problems on vector subspace. Show that W is a subspace of V of R, where W is equal to F such that F of 9 is equal to 0. Show that W is a subspace of V of R, where W is equal to F such that F of 9 is equal to 0. So here, since 0 belongs to W, so 0 of 9 is also equal to 0. So that's why we infer that W is a non-empty set. Now suppose let F comma G belong to capital W. That is, F of 9 is equal to 0 and G of 9 is equal to 0. Let me consider two elements, F and G, which belong to capital W, such that F of 9 is equal to 0 as given in the data. And let me also assume that G of 9 is also equal to 0. Okay, then for any A comma B belonging to the real set, capital R, I have A into F plus B into G, whole thing multiplied by 9 is equal to A into F of 9 plus B into G of 9. But I have been given that F of 9 is equal to 0 in the given problem, and I have also assumed that G of 9 is equal to 0. So that's why I get A into 0 plus B into 0, which is equal to 0. But strictly speaking, AF plus BG belongs to W. So this 0 also belongs to W. 0 also belongs to W. So that's why I infer that W is a vector subspace. This form, we arrive by this proof and also by the methodological proof of theorem 2, which we have derived just now. Please practice this problem a little bit carefully, because on the outside it may be a little bit confusing. But once you do the derivations and solve the problems repeatedly, the idea would become more clearer to you. Next, show that W is a subspace of V of R, where W is equal to F such that F of 2 is equal to F of 1, or F defined such that F of 2 is equal to F of 1. Now I know that 0 belongs to W, and 0 into 2 is equal to 0, and 0 into 1 is equal to 0. So that's why W is a non-empty set. It consists at least one element or more than one element. It can have n elements also. That's why, but I infer that W is a non-empty set. It should be a non-empty set. Now let F comma G belong to W, and F of 2 is equal to F of 1, and G of 2 is equal to G of 1. So this is already given. F of 2 is equal to F of 1 is already given. Now for F comma G belonging to W, I am assuming that F of 2 is equal to F of 1 and G of 2 is equal to G of 1. Then for any A comma B belonging to R, I have A into F plus B into G, whole thing multiplied by 2 is equal to A into F of 2 plus b into g of 2. But f of 2 is equal to f of 1. So g of 2 also would be equal to g of 1. So due to this, I can equate f of 2 to f of 1 and I can equate g of 2 to g of 1. So this becomes a f of 1 plus b g of 1. Or this taking 1 as the common factor outside, I can write this as a into f plus b into g into whole thing multiplied by 1. So I infer that a into f plus b into g belongs to w. So by the converse of theorem 1, that is theorem 2, we have arrived at the fact that w is a vector subspace of V of R, where R is a set of all real numbers. Next, we shall go for the third problem. Let V be the vector space of polynomials a0 plus a1t plus a2t squared plus etc. till an t to the power of n with real coefficients. So he means a0, a1, etc. till n are all real coefficients. They are all real numbers. That is, ai belongs to R. So that W consists of all polynomials with integral coefficients is not a subspace of W. The proving of first two results is very, very easy. I leave it to you to do it. But we shall prove try to prove the third case. W consists of all polynomials with integral coefficients is not a subspace of W. See here, W is not a closed for scalar multiplication, as 3 by 4 belongs to R. So that's why I have V is equal to V0, A0 plus A1t plus A2t squared plus etc. till ANT to the power of n, which also belongs to W. Because AI belongs to I. AI belongs to I. But 3 by 4 into V does not belong to the set W. Because 3 by 4 into AI does not belong to I. So we infer that, right? It is not a subspace of W. Proving of the parts A and B, I leave it to you to do it. Now coming to the fourth problem, consider a homogeneous system of linear equations in n unknowns, x1, x2, etc. till xn over a field Fn. So this is the system of equations I have. A11 x1 plus A12 x2 plus etc. till A1n xn is equal to 0. A21 x1 plus A22 x2 plus etc. till A2n xn is equal to 0. Etc. till AM1 x1 plus AM2 x2 plus etc. till AMN xn is equal to 0 or AX is equal to 0. So here A is equal to A11, A12, A1n, then A21, A22, etc. till ANN. Continuing in this process, AM1, AM2, etc. till up till AMN. So this is a M cross N matrix. I have capital X is equal to x1, x2, x3, etc. till xn. So this is a column matrix with unknowns. So we have been asked to show that the solution set W is a subspace of the vector space F to the power of n. Read this problem again. I have a homogeneous system of linear equations in n unknowns, x1, x2, etc. till xn over a field F to the power of n. This should be filled, F-I-E-L-D. It is not F-I-L-D, it is F-I-E-L-D. So I have A11 x1 plus A12 x2 plus etc. till A1n xn is equal to 0. Next, I have got A21 x1 plus A22 x2 plus etc. till A2n xn is equal to 0. Then continuing this process, I have AM1 x1 plus AM2 x2 plus etc. till AMN xn is equal to 0. Or AX is equal to 0. So here A is a A11, A12, A1n, then A21, A22, etc. till A2n. So continuing the process, AM1, AM2, etc. up till AMN, which is a M cross N matrix. So X consisting of the column matrix x1, x2, etc. up till xn is given, which is having n unknowns. We have been asked to prove that the solution set W is the subspace of the vector space F to the power of n. Problem statement is lengthy, but solution is very, very small. Okay. So for Ax is equal to 0, he has been given. For Ax is equal to 0, since A into 0 is equal to 0, so that's why the 0 vector 0 also belongs to W. So that's why W is non-empty. I have Ax is equal to 0. This system of equations can be put in matrix form as Ax is equal to 0. Now substitute capital X is equal to 0. If I put capital X is equal to 0, I have A into 0, which is equal to 0, which is a 0 vector. So the 0 vector 0 belongs to capital W, and capital W is non-empty. Now let U comma V belong to W. So U and V are solutions of the system Ax is equal to 0. Then I have AU is equal to 0 and AV is equal to 0. Now to show that W is a subspace of f to the power of n, it is enough for us to show that A into U plus B into V belongs to W, where A comma V both belong to F. So I have A capital A into AU plus BV, which is equal to capital A into AU plus capital A into BV. This is equal to rearrange the terms. This small a, write it outside. So A into capital AU plus B into capital AV. Now I have got AU is a solution because AU is equal to 0. V is a solution because AV is equal to 0. So that's why replace AU by 0, replace AV by 0. So I get A into 0 plus B into 0, which is equal to 0 plus 0 equal to 0. So therefore I have AU plus BV both belong to W. So that's why I infer that W is a subspace of f to the power of n, and W is now called the null space of capital F to the power of n. Next we shall prove another problem. So let Ax is equal to B be a non-homogeneous system of linear equations in n unknowns over a field F. So we show that the solution W is not a subspace of f to the power of n. So Ax is equal to B is a non-homogeneous system of linear equations in n unknowns over a field capital F. We have been asked to prove that the solution set W is not a subspace of f to the power of n. So solution set capital W is not a subspace of f to the power of n. Since if B is not equal to 0, then A0 is not equal to B. Therefore, 0 will not be a solution of Ax is equal to B. Very, very important point. Right? Because B is not equal to 0 here. So since B is not equal to 0, the solution set W is not a subspace of f to the power of n. Because if B is not equal to 0, then A into 0 is not equal to B. So that's why 0 is not a solution of Ax is equal to B. If A0 was equal to 0, then 0 would have been the solution of this equation. But here, unfortunately, A0 is not equal to B. That's why 0 is not a solution of Ax is equal to B. Hence, the solution set is not a subspace of f to the power of n. Or the solution set represented by capital W is not a subspace of f to the capital F to the power of n. So with this, I shall wind up vector subspace. We shall continue with rank of the matrix and other such stuff in the next video. Thank you.